side that I can recall, although I know I came from there. So that's the thing about immortality. We were immortal before we took this body. We are immortal now, and we are immortal after we lay the body down. So we clothed ourselves in flesh, and then we lay the flesh down. And I made this saying up, but I love it. Everybody gets through death alive and well. I know that to be true. I absolutely know it to be true. So there's this little part, and I refer all of you to the chapter in the textbook on immortality. It is an amazing treatise. So on page 376, Ernest Holmes has talked about the part in the Bible that says there are celestial bodies and bodies terrestrial. And then there is this amazing paragraph. It would seem then that we have a spiritual body now and need not die to receive one. So it looks as if we were already immortal and need not die to take on immortality. If there are many planes of life and consciousness, as we firmly believe, perhaps we only die from one plane to another. This thought makes a strong appeal and seems reasonable. So that's the teaching. Stephen Levine, who wrote many, many books on death, he's really a midwife. Actually, he died in 2016, so he knows what he's talking about now. So this is what he said. I love this. There is no other preparation for death except opening to the present. If you are here now, you'll be there then. How reassuring. If I'm here now, I'll be there then. Yeah. I'm here. I'm me, and I'll still be here. So most of us, I think, cannot really know what happens after we take that last breath. Some have had the experience of being contacted by loved ones. Some have had visions of going into the light. Some have had a near-death experience. But all of this is so anecdotal. Even the books that are written about life after death, it's story after story after story. And so honestly, when it happens to us, it comes down to faith. Actually, I wasn't going to say this, but it just came to me. Any of us who are mothers, remember that time before your first pregnancy? If you were like me, you read every single thing you could possibly read about childbirth because you'd never gone through it, and it's kind of scary, right? So you'd read and you try to think what it might be like, and then you get it. And it's more. It's just more than you can ever imagine. And so we can read all of these great stories about going into the light, and I think it's better than we can ever tell a story about. So what it comes down to is really our deepest knowing about life is what we think about death. And that is, the questions are, is it safe? Is it good? Is there something for us in this experience? And if we can say yes to those questions, we're a long way down the pathway of being okay with death. So what I want to do today, is go as deep as I can, as quick as I can, and answer to the best of my ability 2 questions. And the 2 questions are, how can I let go of my fear of death? And how can I let go of the fear of someone else's death? And if we can all do that together, we are going to be shining lights in this world. And we are going to walk our life path with such a fearlessness and certainty that, that we will be beacons for others. So you are ready to do this with me? Yeah. All right. Okay, good. So here we go. How can I let go of my fear of my death? And you can let go of your fear of your death if you have any. And it might be lurking, even if you think, oh, I'm fine. So what we do is we nurture a few beliefs. And the first belief that we nurture is that life is for you. This is the entire teaching of Science of Mind, is that life is really on our side, and all that we are given is for our blessing. Nothing is given to us to annoy us. Nothing is given to us just for our suffering. Everything is presented to us as a gift. And so there are lots of ways to see all the gifts that we have. We have lots of love in our life. We have lots of support from one another. We are given intelligence. We are given feedback in life. As we walk down this path, we are given feedback that, no, let's not go down that path. That is not working. So we correct and we go back, and that's a gift. Life is not haphazard, and the deepest qualities of life are always available. The deepest qualities of love and peace and joy are always available. And because death happens to everyone, it seems to be a part of life, and therefore it must be beneficial. We're all going there. You know this, right? We are all on the pathway. And we're going to go in order. In this room, there's this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. All of us in a little parade through the doorway, exactly on time. So one of the things I thought about at this point as I was making my talk is Dalai Lama's saying about his religion. He said, "My religion is kindness." And I have always interpreted that as the Dalai Lama believes that when we are kind to others, we are living a spiritual life. But at this point, I got another realization, and that is life is kind to us. This is the universe in which I believe that I live, that life is kind to me. Now, this can be tricky because we have this mastery part, the oneness and the mastery part, and the mastery part is, it is done unto you as you believe. And so when things happen in life that you don't like, you I have either doubted the truth of that statement from the Bible or doubted my belief to be able to work it. So this is really the biggest leap of faith that Science of Mind asks us to make, and that is that truly it is done unto us as we believe. And of course, I know that begs us all into saying, well, what about bad surprises? And what about if death is a bad surprise? And when we go to looking for the bad surprises in our life, we can feel like victims, but there's another way to see every single circumstance, and it was given to me on Facebook this morning. It was a meme that said, from life, this is a meme from life, "I will make you happy, but first, I will make you strong." Yeah. So what if all the bad surprises, rightly used, were to make us strong so that we can be happy? And that happiness takes us right through the doorway. So next is nurture the belief that you have a choice in everything. So I have thought about how I want my death. I want my children there, and I want my husband there, and that's all I want. I don't want y'all. You know? I love you. And because it is so intimate, because it is the birth into the next plane, as I believe, I want my precious ones there as I was there for my mom. So I want to tell you about some choices that I made as my mom got to the end of her life. She weakened and was in the hospital several times with pneumonia and some other things through 2 or 3 years before she passed. And during that time, I had started making my trip. She died in 2008, and before that, I was taking these trips to the British lands, and I would be scared that she would die when I was gone. I would be scared that she would go in the hospital when I was gone. And it didn't happen enough. I mean, she would go into the hospital right after I got back, but it didn't happen enough that there was a crisis when I was gone, that I said, oh, I see how it's going to be. It's going to be just as we want it. And it was. We wanted to be together, and it was so precious because she passed at 2 a.m. between a Monday and a Tuesday, very, very early on a Tuesday morning. And she was in the process of dying on the Saturday. And she said to me on the Saturday, she said, I want to go to church with you. And I said, Mom, I think you're too weak to go to church. And she said, well, I want to be with you right up until the end. And that's what told me that the end was near. And what I did was I called Judith Fleener and I said, will you speak for me tomorrow? My mother is dying. Thank you, Judith. And she waited for Michael to come, because right after I called Judith, I called Michael, her grandson. And I said, Nana is probably dying, and you need to get here. And he got there as absolutely soon as he could, which was Monday afternoon. And she waited. She waited until she could see him before she went over. So we have a lot to say, a lot of choices in this. It doesn't have to you don't have to leave it and just say, well, whatever, you know? The teaching is you have a lot of choice in how your life works. And death is a part of life, and you have a choice in that. I want to encourage you to think about how you want it. Next is nurture the belief that there are incomparable blessings in the next phase of life. Get rid of anything that says to you there's going to be punishment, or that there's going to be a void, or that the lights go out. You know, this is not useful. It scares you, and there's no need to scare you. So I want to read to you, first of all, I want to say this is the book, Anam Cara is the book that I took to the nursing home where my mom was dying, and I took dictation. I took down what she said, her last things that she said, because I wanted to read this book because it's so wise. So listen to this. I read this at every memorial service. If you come to Jean's memorial, you're going to hear it twice. So this is what it says about the other side. John O'Donohue, Irish mystic. It is strange and a magical fact to be here, walking around in a body. The more lonely side of being here is our separation in the world. When you live in a body, you feel separate from every other object and person. Many of our attempts to pray, to love, and to create are secret attempts at transfiguring that separation in order to build bridges outwards so that others can reach us and we can reach them. At death, this physical separation is broken. The soul is released from its particular and exclusive location in the body. The soul then comes into a free and fluent universe of spiritual belonging. That sounds really good to me. Really, really good. And so I expect, just like the childbirth experience for me, I expect this aspect of life to be more wonderful than I can imagine. And I'm reading all this stuff about how wonderful it can be. So here's another thing that I say at every single memorial that I do, and that is there is nothing wrong here. No matter what happens, no matter how the transition occurs, the death occurs, this is a wonderful belief to nurture. And I want to get into it by thinking about how its opposite is impossible. If you can look at someone who is dying or having just made that transition and think, oh, this is really bad, something is wrong here, then the wrongness, I think, is your thinking. Because within the allness of God that Posi prayed into so beautifully, nothing bad can really happen. Nothing bad can really happen. We are just going to another place in God. There is nothing fundamentally wrong about any soul's path. Now, sometimes you have to look at that statement from 10,000 feet up, but I absolutely believe that in a soul's path, there are no fundamental errors or mistakes. It is all what that soul needs at that time. Something bad cannot happen. God cannot forget us and go, oh, wow, what happened to him? You know, that's not going to happen. So we are encouraged to think all kinds of scary things about death, because when you hear of somebody famous that died, you know, they say they lost their battle with cancer or they succumbed. After a good fight, they lost the fight. What? After doing whatever their soul needed to do on this plane, they went home. They went home to that free and fluent soul experience in the universe. Finally, this is a healing process. This whole idea of looking at death in a positive way, it has taken me years. And it was with a great way shower in my mom that got me here. And the healed place looks like peace and acceptance, and that this is the best thing that could have happened at this time to this person. And I absolutely believe that. And I have been with many of our people as they passed, and to a person, it is peaceful and beautiful. So take a deep breath. This is what I thought we all need to work on when we heal the fear of our own death. So now let's look at how you can let go of the fear of someone else's death. And you need to nurture the belief that, first of all, their timing is their timing. There's nothing wrong with when anyone goes, no matter how long they have lived in their body or what they have done or what they think they have left undone. I remember one of the first young men that died of AIDS in about 1984 that I knew. And at that time, they went so fast, if you remember. He got sick very quickly. He was very young. And he said to me, I wish I had learned to golf. And you know, I just asserted. I said, you know, I bet you'll get a chance on the other side. Now, I have no idea if there's golf over there, but I had that. There's something as good as golf. There is something as good as golf for him. And so there's nothing that we can do to hurry people up or hold people back. Their timing is their timing. Then this is really big, and that is there are gifts in grief. How many of you have had your heart ripped open and it stayed open? Look at you people. Absolutely. Grief rips us open. And if we work at it, we can keep that open heart so that we are available for compassion and connection with others. Grief is tenderizing. It's like you get pounded and you're never quite as tough as before. You get strong and then you get happy. But here's a big thing about grief. Pure grief is beautiful. It is honoring. It is using your heart well. But grief and guilt, or grief and regret, is hell. It's awful. And so, to heal your fear of someone else's death, you need to heal with them, so that there is no guilt or remorse or regret to mix in with your good grief. The next belief to nurture is that living full out is the thing to do. Honesty, forthrightness, forgiveness, appreciation, so that nothing is ever left unsaid, so that the grief can be pure and you feel that you have given everything you can in this relationship and have received everything that you can. That's important. And finally, to know, and I really know this, that you will be together in the same dimension again. When my mom was near the end, she did believe in reincarnation. And I said, Mom, if you are in another body and I still need you, and then the question was going to be, do you think that you can be in more than one place at a time? And I didn't even get the question out. She said, absolutely. Absolutely. So I felt her presence so often. And I know she's off doing something else. She's not just hanging around me. She did that her whole life on this plane. She's got more things to do, but I still have her some of the time. I know that. So this, I think, is what we do to heal our fear of somebody else dying. So there's one more piece I want to do with you, and that is how to prepare for a good death. So I got this wonderful email from Brent this week. Brent is a hospital chaplain, and he wrote me this. I read once that we die as we live. In my work, I have found this to be a fairly accurate statement. Those who have led a fearful life approach death in the same manner. Those who are anxious experience tremendous anxiety as death approaches. Those who live their lives in joy and serenity, more than likely they will die that way. Those whose lives are filled with adventure and discovery look forward to even grander adventures beyond the veil. What does that say about preparing for death? It means letting go of all of our fears. So I want to tell you a story that, this story came to me through Jane Jennings, and she was practicing one of the classes that I taught years ago, and she said, I have a wonderful story about a very good death. She is a former Catholic, maybe a nun. Was she ever a nun? She thought about it, I guess. Anyway, this was a Catholic lady who every day of her life prayed for a good death, among other things. She was very prayerful. But from a young person, she prayed every day for a good death. So in her life, she had a lovely long life. She married, she had a long marriage, she had children, she and her husband lived a long life, and along in their 90s or so, the husband died. Every day she's praying for her good death, and her husband dies. So she still prays for her good death, and as the story goes, she went shoe shopping. It's kind of interesting that it's shoe shopping for the journey with her daughter, and she lived alone, and she came home, and she felt that it was her time. And so she called the paramedics, and she said, I believe I'm dying. Don't hurry. She said, the door will be unlocked and I'll be here. So, sirens blazing, they arrive in minutes and crash through the door as they're wont to do. And in her bedroom with the lamp on was the sweet lady sitting in her chair, having passed. She sat down and went over. She had prayed for a good death her whole life. So the next thing is allow death's presence to help you prioritize. So Stephen Levine says, when you start using death as a means of focusing on life, then everything becomes just as it is, just this moment, an extraordinary opportunity to be really alive. And Desmond Tutu wrote, when you have a potentially terminal disease, it concentrates the mind wonderfully. It gives new intensity to life. You discover how many things you have taken for granted. The love of your spouse, the Beethoven symphony, the dew on the rose, the laughter on the face of your grandchild. And what I would like to add is you don't have to wait until there is some terminal thing going on. We can just remember the number of breaths I have is countable. And so the breaths that I take today must be for good. And then this very wonderful advice, keep communication open and complete. Reveal your heart and don't hold anything back. And then finally, expect the best time you ever had. So my mom, once she went through that time of depression, about dying, she was a happy girl. And on the last morning of her life, this was Monday morning, she said, I know how wonderful I am because I received so much. She said this, I wrote it down. And she said this with this beatific look on her face, like she was already seeing the other side and just giving just thanks for what was on this side. So, getting back to oneness and mastery. You are one with God. I am one with God. I am one with you, always and forever. And each one of us has great choices to make in making our death a good one. And this helps us all feel so masterful. I want to close before the inner work by reading a blessing from John O'Donohue. And just take this in, and then we'll go right into prayer. I pray that you will have the blessing of being consoled and sure about your own death. May you know in your soul that there is no need to be afraid. When your time comes, may you be given every blessing and shelter that you need. May there be a beautiful welcome for you in the home that you are going to. You are not going somewhere strange. You are going back to the home that you never left. May you have a wonderful urgency to live your life to the full. May you live compassionately and creatively and transfigure everything that is negative within you and about you. When you come to die, may it be after a long life. May you be peaceful and happy and in the presence of those who really care for you. May your going be sheltered and your welcome assured. And may your soul smile in the embrace of your infinite friend. And as we go into prayer with those sweet wishes on our heart, and as the practitioners surround us in this beautiful chalice of care, feel the ancestors. The north is right behind me. All of your ancestors, because of our talk of the doorway today, are right there smiling at you. Through soft eyes, you might look behind me and see your ancestors. They will prepare the way for you as you join them in the realm of ancestry. It will be at the perfect time and in the perfect way. Your path will be filled with love and lit with divine light. You will know that you were well used in this life and you go back home to that place where new choices can be made. It will be beautiful. It will be loving. It will be more than we hope for, because it is going home. In the meantime, I bless our pathways and all that there is still left to do here. And so it is.
There are singers that we love as we sing our lives away, and though we all fall silent in the end, they will sing with us forever. They'll be singing every day when we sing the songs they sang. And the song goes on in the songs we sing, and when one song ends, then another song begins. So the singers who are gone will be singing once again when we sing the songs they sang. Some are heard by many, and some are heard by few, and though we all fall silent in the end, someone will remember both the song you sang and you when they sing the songs you sang. For the song goes on in the songs we sing, and when one song ends, then another song begins. So the singers who have gone will be singing once again when we sing the songs they sang. Sing the chorus, sing the song. When the singer's gone before us, we'll be singing right along. Sing the chorus and refrain. And the singer's gone before us, we'll be singing once again. We can drive away the silence of the grave that we all fear, though we all fall silent in the end. Sing and you'll be singing with the singers you hold dear when we sing the songs they sang. For the song goes on in the songs we sing, and when one song ends, then another song begins. So the singers who have gone will be singing once again when we sing the songs they sang. So if you sing along, you bring along the singers who are gone, and though we all fall silent in the end, sing and you'll be singing both the singer and the song when we sing the songs they sang. For the song goes on in the songs we sing, and when one song ends, then another song begins. So the singers who are gone will be singing once again when we sing the songs they sang. Sing the chorus, sing the song, and the singers gone before us will be singing right along. Sing the chorus and refrain, and the singers gone before us will be singing once again. For the song goes on in the songs we sing, and when one song ends, then another song begins. So the singers who are gone will be singing once again when we sing the songs they sang. So the singers who are gone will be singing once again when we sing the songs they sang.
Woohoo!
Would the ushers please come forward? So as usual, I'd like to begin with gratitude, and I really want to thank Reverend Karyl for handling a tender topic just so gracefully and beautifully. So thank you. So I was in the dentist's office this week, and I was going through the New Yorker, and there was a cartoon in there that I liked, and it showed the Grim Reaper in a coffin. And there's this couple there, and they're going, you know, geez, I sure wish taxes had gone first. That being said, put your gift over your heart. Thank you, God, for that one. At any rate, would the ushers please collect the gifts? On your mark, get set.
In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. When I lose myself, when I feel I've lost my way, when I go inside and quiet my mind, I hear Spirit gently say, there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love.
And would you all repeat with me? This gift I give is God in action. I now send it forth to bless and to prosper. I know that everywhere it goes, it is creating a world living in love, one heart and one thought at a time. And so it is.
Okay, announcement time. We are grateful for everyone that contributed to this service today. I'd like to thank Jim for his setup, and Bob for sound, and Ron for camera work, and Tom for streaming, Mary for PowerPoint, and these wonderful practitioners that are available to pray with you. I'd like to thank Janet for the altar, and let's give the Now Choir another round of applause. And the Sunday team led by Maria Clothier today. So spring classes are coming up. Next week is a Quick Start. Marilyn Letzos will be teaching Quick Start. It is assured. She has enough students and there is room for more. So if you would like a quick synopsis of this philosophy, including how to make your life better instantly, come to Quick Start. And then I would like to invite Reverend Catherine to come forward to talk about her class, and Reverend Barbara's as well.
Thank you. Okay, I'm teaching the Foundations class, and believe me, this is a mind-blowing, life-altering, transformative class. It really, really is. For those of you who may have taken Foundations in the past, consider doing it again, because believe me, these principles are infinitely profound, and you can learn something new, because every time I teach it, I learn something new. I mean, there's just no end to this, and deepening in these principles, you will always find deeper ways to enrich your life. So, and we're extending the early bird registration for 1 week, because we've been so busy with things, we haven't really had time to tell you about the class and promote it. So, sign up now and you get a nice discount. I'm also I don't want to touch that gorgeous altar. Talking to you about Reverend Barbara Legere's pilot project, which is an online class. This is the first time we're trying it. You don't even have to get dressed. You can stay home, click in online, and this is called Circulation, Joining the Dance. It is a 5-week class that talks about the top 3 spiritual laws that govern your prosperity. And if you can even, with this class, put one of these to work in your life, again, your life is going to be significantly transformed. And this is also, we're extending the early bird registration for this one. And again, you can sit there with a cup of coffee in your little fuzzy slippers and sign in, sign up, tune in, and drop in. Thank you.
All right. So today is the day for our dear Jean Lange's memorial service, and I have a special request for all of you, and that is the Sunday team wants to go to this. And usually, if we take our time with the food and with kibitzing with each other, the Sunday team finishes up about 1 o'clock. And that's exactly when the memorial starts at McManus Park. So we would like you to eat fast, talk fast, so that the Sunday team can clean up fast, if you would do that. And actually, you can help by putting the chairs away and cleaning up after yourself, and things like that. So the Creative Craft Circle is going to be Thursday, April 19th. If you have anything that you're working on stitchy-wise, bring it and do it with your brothers and sisters. There's mostly sisters, but brothers are welcome too. This is the last Sunday, I think, for you Aries babies before we go to the next animal, and that's Zodiac. And so if you would like a present from your community, come over here to the practitioner table and pick up a spiritual checkup form, fill it out, call a practitioner on the back, and you can have a wonderful birthday present. And then the last Sunday of this month is number 5 for April, and on every 5th Sunday, at least up until now, she can't resist hosting us. Lunch is going to be at Jets. So, yes, and please drive together because there's very little parking. Either drive together or plan to walk a long way. That's what we do. So that's all the announcements for today. I would like to bless all of you knowing, as I do, that your path on earth is perfect and your path into the next realm is assured, and Spirit always guides your way. Please stand now for our affirmation and closing song. I am an immortal being. I live this life to the fullest. I give what I came to give, and I receive what I came to receive. I love deeply and connect to others completely. All is well with my soul, now and into eternity.
One more time.